Have you ever wondered what secrets lie beneath the Earth's surface? Today, we delve into a tale that will make you question the limits of human courage and the unpredictable nature of underground exploration. The year was 1962. McFails Cave, located in Schoharie County, New York, was still a mystery to the world. Little was known about this cave system, except that it was deep, dark, and dangerous. But was that enough to deter the brave and the curious? Can you imagine the type of individuals who would willingly venture into such an unknown abyss? Meet James Mitchell, Sarah Hawkins, and Tom Riley, three young speleologists with an insatiable thirst for adventure. James, the leader of the group, had been fascinated by caves since childhood. Sarah, a geology student, saw each cave as a living textbook. Tom, the newest member of their team, was eager to prove himself. On a crisp autumn morning, they stood at the entrance of McFails Cave, their excitement palpable. The cave's mouth yawned before them, a dark void that seemed to swallow the very light around it. "Ready for this?" James asked, his voice a mix of excitement and apprehension. Sarah and Tom nodded, their headlamps already illuminating the rocky path ahead. Little did they know that this expedition would change their lives forever. What dangers do you think awaited them in the depths of McFails Cave? As they entered the cave, the outside world quickly faded away. The air grew cooler, and the sounds of nature were replaced by the echoing drip of water and their own cautious footsteps. The first few hours were exhilarating. They marveled at intricate rock formations, squeezed through tight passages, and documented their findings. Sarah's geological expertise came in handy as she identified various rock types and formations. "Look at this," Tom exclaimed, pointing to a cluster of delicate stalactites. "It's like nature's own chandelier." But as they ventured deeper, the cave's true nature began to reveal itself. The passages become narrower, the drops deeper, and the air thinner. Have you ever experienced that moment when excitement turns to unease? It was Tom who first noticed something was amiss. "Guys, is it just me, or is the water level rising?" he asked, his voice echoing off the damp walls. James and Sarah exchanged worried glances. They had checked the weather forecast. There was no rain predicted, but underground, things can change rapidly and unpredictably. "We should turn back," Sarah suggested, but James was reluctant. They had come so far, and he was sure they were close to making a significant discovery. "Just a little further," he urged. "We've come too far to turn back now." Little did they know, this decision would set in motion a chain of events that would test their survival skills to the limit. What would you have done in their situation? Press on or retreat? As they pressed deeper into the cave, the sound of rushing water grew louder. Suddenly they found themselves in a vast chamber, its ceiling lost in the darkness above. But what caught their attention was the rapidly rising water at their feet. "This isn't normal," Sarah shouted over the roar of water. "We need to get out now." But as they turned to retrace their steps, they realized with horror that their exit was already submerged. The cave was flooding, and they were trapped. Can you imagine the fear and panic that must have gripped them at that moment? With their primary exit blocked, the trio was forced to seek higher ground within the cave. They scrambled up slippery rocks, their headlamps casting frantic beams across the rising water. Tom pointed to a small opening above them that might lead to another passage. With no other choice, they climbed towards it. James went first, then helped Sarah and Tom up. As they squeezed through the tight opening, they found themselves in a smaller, drier chamber. But their relief was short-lived. They were now deeper in the cave than ever before, with no clear way out. How would you maintain hope in such a dire situation? Hours passed, feeling like an eternity. Their food and water supplies were dwindling, and the air was growing thin. The darkness seemed to close in around them, broken only by the weak beams of their fading headlamps. Sarah, ever the pragmatist, began rationing their remaining supplies. James tried to boost morale by sharing stories of other cavers who had survived similar ordeals. Tom, the youngest, struggled to keep his composure. "Do you think anyone knows we're here?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. The question hung in the air, unanswered. They had told friends about their expedition. But would anyone realize they were in trouble in time? What thoughts do you think were running through their minds as they faced the possibility of never seeing daylight again? Just as despair threatened to overwhelm them, they heard something. At first it was faint, so faint they thought they might be imagining it. But then it came again, louder this time. "Hello? Is anyone down there?" The voice, muffled but unmistakable, came from somewhere above them. Rescue had arrived. "We're here," they shouted in unison, their voices hoarse but filled with renewed hope. But their ordeal was far from over. How would the rescuers reach them through the flooded passages? What followed was one of the most complex cave rescues in history. A team of experienced caveers working with local authorities had to navigate the treacherous water-filled passages to reach the trapped explorers. The rescue operation took days. Divers had to set up guide ropes through submerged tunnels. Engineers worked to pump water out of the cave system. Medical teams stood by, ready to treat the explorers for hypothermia and other conditions. For James, Sarah, and Tom, each minute felt like an hour. They huddled together for warmth, conserving their energy and what little supplies they had left. Can you imagine the mix of hope and fear they must have felt, knowing help was near, but still so far away? On the fourth day of the rescue operation, the breakthrough came. A diver emerged in their chamber, his appearance seeming almost miraculous to the weary explorers. "We're getting you out of here," the diver said, his voice muffled by his mask but filled with determination. One by one, they were fitted with diving gear. The journey out would be perilous, navigating narrow, flooded passages in near-zero visibility. But it was their only chance. What do you think went through their minds as they prepared to face their final challenge? After what seemed like an eternity of darkness, cold, and fear, James, Sarah, and Tom finally emerged from the cave. They were greeted by blinding sunlight, the cheers of rescue workers, and the tears of relieved family members. The McFails Cave tragedy, as it came to be known, ended not in death, but in triumph of the human spirit. It showcased both the dangers of cave exploration and the incredible efforts people will make to save lives. In the days and weeks that followed, the story of the McFails Cave rescue captured national attention. James, Sarah, and Tom became reluctant celebrities, their ordeal sparking discussions about the safety of cave exploration. For the three explorers, the experience was transformative. James became an advocate for cave safety, working to develop new protocols and equipment. Sarah's brush with death in the depths of the earth only deepened her love for geology, and she went on to become a renowned researcher. Tom, shaken by the experience, found a new appreciation for life above ground, pursuing a career in environmental conservation. The McFails Cave itself became a subject of intense study. New mapping efforts revealed it to be one of the most complex cave systems in the northeastern United States. However, access was strictly regulated to prevent future incidents. What lessons do you think we can learn from the McFails Cave tragedy? Today, more than 6 decades later, the McFails Cave tragedy remains a powerful reminder of nature's unpredictability and the indomitable human spirit. It serves as a cautionary tale for adventurers, a case study for rescue operations, and an inspiration for those facing seemingly insurmountable odds. As we reflect on this incredible story, we're left with questions about the nature of exploration, risk, and human resilience. What drives people to explore the unknown, despite the dangers? How do we balance the thirst for discovery with the need for safety? And what reserves of strength do we all have within us, waiting to be tapped in moments of crisis? The McFails Cave tragedy teaches us that while we may venture into the darkness, it's the light of human courage, teamwork, and perseverance that ultimately guides us home.